This video is mainly on UFOs, but I want to start with universal basic income. Universal basic income, I admit there's a few years before that comes in. Not exactly sure how many years, but it's probably a late 2020s thing at the earliest. Mid 2020s, it's a couple of years away. Whereas UFO stuff, that's going full on right this second. That's a current live issue, which is if someone had made a video in 2020 asking what will come first, UFO disclosure or UBI, I think most people would have gone for UBI, but it's going to be UFO disclosure. It looks that way now. But first of all, when I go about UBI, then I want to get to the glory stuff. On UBI, Universal Basic Income, it's not about the issue itself. So if someone doesn't like universal basic income and they're saying blah 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 blah, costs too much, blah 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 blah, people's not working well, all this stuff. It's not the issue is sort of like correct depending on what year it is. You know what I mean? So it always has been correct, but now the argument sort of like becomes more and more relevant because it's not whether UBI is a good idea to you as such. It's more about the state of the economy is, because it's people shifting from what benefits them most, whether it's does UBI cost them and therefore most people will be opposed to it, or does UBI are they desperate for money, are they panicking, and that's when UBI becomes relevant. So if you just discuss universal basic income in itself, it makes no sense to me, because I agree with the argument that it usually is thought of as a bad idea by society, but not so much now, is it? And if you look at the way it's going, the more time goes on, the more that's flipped over. I already think it might have flipped over a few years back, but it'll really be certain if the AI predictions are correct. So it's not about UBI itself. On universal basic income, governments refuse to bring it in due, I admit, to the cost reasons. But the prediction among many is that AI will make the majority of people unable to live without assistance. If that is true, then the public will flip the other way and force governments to introduce UBI. So see how my view isn't about UBI itself, it's about something else. It's about whether people are penniless or not. So in a booming economy, I don't know, the 60s had a decent reputation, UBI wouldn't have stood a chance. So it's not about the issue itself, because I'm saying I oppose it for the 60s and support it for the 2030s. And I only support it for the 2030s if the AI predictions are true, that people wouldn't be able to afford to live without it and the middle class would crash. So for UBI to still be a bad idea in the future, it's not about UBI itself. It's about the mistake of the prediction that everything's going to go to the dogs and going to crash and burn. Now if that prediction's wrong, if people aren't desperate, the middle class, ex-middle class I would think would be, aren't desperate for money, then there'd be no UBI. So it's not about UBI itself, it's about whether or not society would collapse without UBI. At the end of Andrew Yang's book, which I haven't bought, but I've seen extracts, he paints a picture of a scene where UBI should have been brought in, but hasn't been, and it's all complete riots in the streets and all. And that's a real life book that he's predicting. Now, he obviously thinks that won't happen because UBI will be brought in. Now, his point is, if something needs to be brought in, isn't brought in, and it's not just the working class that need it, but the middle class as well, or the ex-middle class, then what do you expect to happen? You know, I mean, he's saying that. Now, that's on that issue, but we have a more current issue, which is UFOs. Now, I don't normally discuss these on videos, but it's real now, so I mean, it's in the bloody Guardian. Never mind anything else. Who would have ever believed what is the headline in the Guardian about UFOs? It's let's have a look. Who would have believed you get an article like this in the Guardian with this headline? I mean, it's been in all the other newspapers this year, you know, even before the David Grush stuff. It's been in the Mail, the Mirror, the Express, loads of times, the Sun. But now the Guardian have even got it. US urged to reveal UFO evidence after claim that it has intact alien vehicles. Yeah. And also, what's the most famous political family in the United States of America? The Kennedys. And the nephew, who is standing, hoping to become president very soon, you know, when's the next presidential election, is Robert F. Kennedy, JFK's nephew. He's totally on side, says that the state in the US deliberately, not accidentally, deliberately created the words conspiracy theory to debunk UFOs so that they could have it easy for themselves, knowing that UFOs are real. That's Robert F. Kennedy, JFK's nephew, view, and he's old enough to have, you know, I can't say to have been alive when JFK was alive. Just pictures of JFK holding his little nephew in his hand, walking down the streets and that. So there's always been rumours that JFK was well into UFOs. And Robert F. Kennedy doesn't really, his nephew standing for president, doesn't seem to be challenging that so much. Rather, he's challenging the state, which includes his own uncle presiding over. Yeah, anyway, let's get up to date rather than talk about the 60s. This is now real, so I'm willing to talk about it in terms of, and unite it with the possibility of a state collapse, because if this is of magnitudes thousands of times bigger than Watergate, then how could the state just stay standing? I mean, already the mainstream media are saying that the state, this is the mainstream media, the state, America, this is when they say it, could be seriously damaged in how the world looks at it. At a time of China and Russia, who would be able to take advantage of this, because the US are going to have done stuff that is of magnitudes worse than what anything China's done. So, well, unless you go back to Chairman Mao. But in the present day and in recent decades, so it's looking like the United States is going to suffer one hell of image collapse, but that's putting it nicely. It sounds like they've been committed to the state, which is not really a nice thing, is it? It's a gangster thing with propaganda. It looks like we're going to find out exactly the kind of levels they're willing to go to do gangsterism full belt. Find out this Sunday. You know, and the propaganda's bad enough, but they get away with that because people fall for it. But clear on, you know, killing people or whatever, it sounds like they've been doing that because they don't want them to secrets. This is the sort of stuff we're going to find out about. Murder, basically, of American citizens. That's my guess. Mass murder, serial killing. I'd be amazed if it wasn't, because this is meant to be crimes that send people to prison forever, according to Ross Coulthart, who's interviewed, so he got the answer. Makes Watergate look tiny. And Watergate had kidnapping in it, so it's obviously something like murder. Now, that's coming out on Sunday, and that will harm the United States of America and put the state in its true picture, rather than just this thing that wants a bit of power. They want that power for corruption purposes. And now, this also means that UFO disclosure, official UFO disclosure, will come closer, because it just proves us right. You see, all that will just prove us right again. I mean, they wouldn't commit these crimes to hide pigeons or carrier bags, sort of thing. And we've also got David Grush on record as saying it's not those things, it is intact craft. So when you unite that with the way is tiny stuff, then we know that we are now dealing with exotic intelligence from somewhere else, not necessarily extraterrestrial. It could be human time travel, for all I know, but it's not carrier bags and it's not planes. So when you unite the corruption, the murders, whatever going on, we'll find out on Sunday, and they won't get away with that, because people are willing to let the state off for corruption, but they're not willing to let them off for taking people out and killing them. That's certain. And that's certain. So when that comes out, united with the this is not our technology, and it's now US intelligence are now confirming that. Combine that with the fact that now we've got the American press, but the British press and all the modern world press. I've seen it online. I've seen German, Norway. I've seen all that stuff. It's coming out with it. Then by about Monday, you're going to be getting the TV news channels in the UK coming out with it. I mean, even Sky News in 2017 scrolled at the bottom of the screen about the New York Times article. Well, this is millions of times bigger than that. So it's going to come out on Sky News. It's going to come out on obviously CNN. It's going to come out on BBC, Channel 4, everything. So what we're looking at now is something really, really, really close to official disclosure, combined with one hell of an inquiry into something that sounds like massive gangster level criminality, hugely, because Coulthard wouldn't say that if the other guys said to him something minor. Now, let's say, what did I just tweet? I tweeted 14 minutes ago, closer and closer to absolute holy grail glory of official UFO disclosure. So, and then I linked to a nice song by The Cause. I'm sure you got that. Closer to UFO disclosure, because it is really, really close now. Very close. Sunday, Watergate, well, something much bigger than Watergate, massive compared to Watergate, murders, criminal activity, gangsterism from the state. And what does this all tie into, by the way? When I think about it, right, the stuff I say about anti-state superstructure, it's propaganda and it's violence. Well, this brings out some of that violent side, doesn't it? That in order to cover up a truth that has been known about by people who think about it for 75 years, that has been compared to fairies, that we are now going to learn has caused the murder of American citizens for just wanting the truth. And that's now becoming mainstream. What an excellent corruption cover-up that was from the state. They kill people or something that they were saying is just fairies, and that quote, "We don't investigate UFOs." We now know that's wrong. We work on the craft. Now, so they've been found out, hook, line and sinker. This is the mega story of the millennium. It is the biggest story in history. And if you believe in Jesus or whatever, maybe not, maybe put it number 2. But for most of us, it's the biggest story in history. And the state's screwed, but the future looks bright for anyone who wants UFOs to be in the news. This is huge, huge, huge. Bring it on from this Sunday. Then this will not be out the news until Biden gives disclosure. This is massive. The next president could be another Kennedy, and he wants UFO disclosure. The Kennedys want disclosure. The Democrats, therefore, will fall in line because they've already got Yang and others like that. And you know the Republicans, they love conspiracy theories because they hate the state these days. So this isn't a conspiracy theory, but you know, it's got that interest of one still. The conspiracy now is on those who deny it. The conspiracy is those, no one's ever hurt anyone over this. Well, they'll be proven wrong on Sunday. Bring it on.